Steven, I am the greatest vacuumer in the history of vacuums. VACUUM. That's how you spell vacuum, and I know how to wield a vacuum because it sucks.
Steven, do you like vacuuming?
Well, I have a robot vacuum, so I don't really vacuum these days.
Just one?
I have two, actually.
How many have you burned out?
Well, the first one, I burned out the one wheel because I guess there was so much grit stuck in there. It ended up grinding the gear away after a while, but I sent it in and got it back within a week, and it was like a $40 fix, so not a big deal. But they've been going strong for, 4 or 5 years now.
And how many times a day do you run them?
I used to run them daily, every single night. Now I run them only every 2 or 3 days.
What changed?
Having a child. There's a lot more crap on the floor that I have to clean up before we vacuum.
Oh, yeah, because I remember you used to run it like twice a day.
No, I never did twice a day. It was once a day.
It's just so much vacuuming with a robot vacuum.
Well, I have a dog, so it was just so nice to come downstairs every morning to like a nice, clean, tidy house. Like there was never a crumb on the ground.
I have a cat, and I have hair, and I never run my robot vacuum.
Yeah, and there's hair everywhere.
No. My cleaning people were here yesterday.
Not at the factory.
Not at the factory. That's not at my house. They were at my house.
What's funny is I actually stopped, like I said, I stopped running it every single night, and crumbs started to build up, and eventually we had ants get in the house, and that was a major issue for a week or two. And luckily I fixed all that, and I'm back to kind of running it like every 2-3 days.
The reason I'm bringing up vacuuming is I sat down the other day because I needed to do some vacuuming here at the studio as we prepare for the boot camp on the weekend. And I was just thinking to myself, shouldn't I have someone else do the vacuuming? Because why would I do the vacuuming? I could give like an intern or an assistant or somebody. Well, we don't have interns. We don't have assistants. So there is none of that here.
This is peasant work. I'm above this.
Exactly. But I don't mind vacuuming. I don't mind it at all. But I also think that it's something that I could have someone else do. The cutting of the boxes, the organizing of the basement, getting things done. And that got me thinking about when someone gives you a task to do when you're up and coming, you want to attempt to do the best job you can without complaining outwardly. I say that because I always complain inwardly.
It's the exact opposite of what you do.
No, I'm successful, Steven. I am.
Boxes are never cut up. Trash is never taken out. It's never vacuumed. If you clean up, you're just throwing shit in random cupboards.
It's because I don't want to do it.
Yesterday, I was like, wait, where's the return boxes for these lenses? Oh, I think they're under the kitchen cabinets. What? Why?
Because I just put shit into places so it's not on the counter anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to move it like Tetris.
It's the kid cleanup, throw everything in the closet and the room's clean.
That's what I used to do as a kid. Slide the door closed.
Hasn't changed.
I never cleaned. Just never. No, it's never changing. It's not going to change. My organizational skills are just move shit so that it looks like it's stacked into Tetris pieces.
And then ask me months later where that certain thing is that you moved.
Because when I put something away, I can't find it.
What were we looking for yesterday?
Tape.
My
thin roll of white gaff tape that I have in my 4x5 bag that's no longer in my 4x5 bag or could still be there, and I've looked 4 times and I just haven't seen it in the actual bag.
That's the other issue is sometimes I'll be like, check here, and you'll be like, I did, but your eyes missed it or something, and it was there all along.
Same thing as when I was a kid. Where are my socks? Where are my shoes? Where's the
Did you check under your bed, Jared?
Yeah. I didn't have under a bed because I had a trundle.
Oh, me too. Yep.
Yeah, so no, there was no under my bed.
Yeah. No monsters.
No monster. Just next to my bed.
My monsters were in the closet.
Were they in the closet?
I had to have the closet closed at all times.
Speaking of closets, my friend Evan Udell, I've known him since he was a nerd. Well, he's still a nerd, but since we were kids and they used to make fun of him at camp, he just sent me a message because he's a podcast listener of RAWtalk, and he said he had to take his car in to get looked at, and they gave him a loaner, and now he feels that because of what they gave him, that he has to look at guys' asses when he's driving because he's in a Subaru.
Oh, Jesus.
He said it. It wasn't me, Steven. Anyway, back to vacuuming. The reason I made that video is it got me thinking about when you are asked to do a task when you're up and coming, and whether you should complain, whether you should do a half-ass job, or whether you should just do it to the best of your ability, because not everything that you're tasked with is going to be glamorous. So, for example, this kid, Aaron Heller, who I'm helping out, I'm mentoring him in his sports photography and photography journey at this point, and I was like, well, this is something I could give him, but I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I ask the kid to vacuum? But then I was like, well, he would do the vacuuming, and it then shows, can he do a great job of doing something? Can he take the task and actually do it? But beyond that, the point was the proximity to success. The proximity to me, or if you're working for someone else in any field, the proximity to someone who can make something happen. Funny thing is, my friend was telling me that her sister would work on sets, and she was just a low-level job, and then she befriended the script supervisor. And then the script supervisor said to her one day, would you like to shadow me one day and see what goes into being a script supervisor? And then she ended up becoming a script supervisor because she got recommended to do it by the person because she liked the job that she was doing.
I used to open my PD's mail for the radio station. So CDs that came in, singles, vinyl, whatever it was, any type of promotional material for an upcoming release. Every Friday, I'd go in his office for an hour or two, literally just sit on the floor and open mail for him. But it got me one-on-one personal time with the program director, the head honcho from the radio station.
And that's why you got a full-time job there.
I mean, I got to pitch singles to him. I got to tell him what was good, what wasn't. I mean, he would ask my opinion a lot on certain things, and a lot of that ended up airing. He would talk to the music director and be like, well, Steven said he liked this one better, so I think we're going to roll with that this week. But I would have never had that one-on-one time with him each week if I didn't take the time to simply open his mail, which, you know, I was essentially an intern at that point. Not technically, but basically was doing intern shit. But I didn't really mind it because, again, I got that one-on-one time.
It's about making yourself indispensable or being seen. If you worked at home, you're never going to be seen. So the boss isn't going to call on you and be like, hey, Steven, I need this right now. What do you think? Hey, by the way, while you're here, what do you think of the sound of this? Right? And it's just proximity. Yeah. A lot of it is proximity.
I know you say that. I do feel like that's more of an old school mentality, though, because, like, for example, we have Slack, and like you ask me a question, and within seconds, I'm typing back and answering. This day and age, you could simply send an MP3 over that and be like, what do you guys think? Or send a link and instantly email back. It's all about quick communication at the end of the day, not really showing face.
Yeah, but there's also something about being somewhere and seeing that person and subliminally and subconsciously understanding. Like I said about the soccer example where my coach took me out and I was sitting on the sideline, I was sitting away from him, and he's like, hey, if you want to get back in, stay on my hip. You know, let me know that you're here, but so you're not out of mind.
It's just a lot of things have changed this day and age. That's all.
Sure. But part of the other thing with having, you know, talking about in general working, like if Aaron was here, then he could ask me questions. And speaking of Aaron, we're going to go over some questions that he sent in audio for, because he has a lot of questions. But that's what's cool. I like hearing these questions. Just like when I do the boot camp, there's so many fundamentals and basics that I don't even think about anymore. But these are the things that are on people's minds that either come to the boot camp or people that are up and coming, and I just have the answers to.
And that's kind of my point right there, is he sent you an audio message and he's in constant communication with you, so he's top of mind.
Actually, first he texted me and I'm like, you fucker, send me a fucking audio message. This is bullshit. Just answer me all the goddamn questions in one place.
You're definitely an audio person. You'd rather have a phone call than nonstop texting back and forth.
Well, you can articulate better.
Sure. No, I agree.
And I wish I could. I'd listen to the shit at 2x speed. I'm like, faster. I was previewing the Photo News Fix yesterday at regular speed. I'm like, this guy's fucking sucks. It's like he's talking like Hugh Brownstone, but I need to make it 2x speed.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Did you see that they now offer 3x speed if you're YouTube Red or whatever the premium subscription is
How much
called?
is that a month?
I don't know, but I can see now it's 3x, but it's held back by a paywall.
I've made $1 million on YouTube, literally from AdSense over the years, and I refuse to pay for YouTube Red.
it's pretty ironic that, we basically make all of our money via YouTube and don't pay for their premium subscription.
Is that $10 a month?
It can't be much. I don't know. I've never looked into it because I don't really care to watch a 5-second ad and just hit skip. It doesn't bother me that much. And I'm an avid YouTube watcher.
I don't know, but 3x speed, Steven. I wish I could get some other shit. So books you can get at faster speeds. Anyway, let me come back to Aaron here. I remember talking to Danny Clinch, and I'm not sure if this was in our podcast where we talked about or where we interviewed him up in New York City, but I remember that he interned for Anne Leibovitz. I guess we're going to be talking about Anne Leibovitz soon in this episode.
Look at that segue.
No, that was accidental, Steven. That wasn't planned. But I remember Danny was an assistant for her, and then there were things that she wasn't going to do, jobs like photo shoots, that she would then hand to him. And that helped get him in the door. I mean, she was shooting covers for Rolling Stone. And he now, at that point after that would shoot covers for Rolling Stone. And then I remember his assistant, who is very successful as well in the photo world, was the same thing. If Danny wasn't able to do something, it would be like, hey, you go and do this because you trust and they're there. And so the moral of the story about the vacuuming was do the best job that you can. Don't think that you're above being able to vacuum or clean the toilets or do the bag wall at Alan's camera, which I ended up taking major pride in because Alan, it's the one thing I could do at the beginning that would keep me from getting in trouble at Alan's camera because I didn't know enough to really help many of the customers. And Alan was a tough character. He would tell you like it is. And so I knew that if I spent my time organizing this, well, that's something that I could do, a task I could do that I could take ownership of that he didn't ask me to do, but I just knew it would be better if I did it right, which meant making sure that there is every bag out that needs to be out, that if you sell a bag, then you replace it on the wall with another, and then you let Alan know that, hey, we're short on stock in the back, so that it just keeps you don't come up one day and you're like, you don't have something. You take the initiative, you go above and beyond. And then I cited this time that there was this person that said that my audio sucked and that they could do a better job. And then I was like, okay, do it. And that was Steven.
Oh, me?
Steven said the audio sucked and he could do a better job.
It's funny. You always bring that story up. And I honestly don't remember saying like your audio sucks. I could do better. I must have said it a different way because I usually wouldn't say something like that.
That's how my brain computed it. The backstory.
Like, do you compress your audio? Because we could probably make it sound a little better.
Probably.
And you're like, you always said my audio sucks.
Yeah, probably. That's how I take it. But the way that it happened is I met Steven in the pit. I've said this before. He was working for the radio station. I saw him on stage announcing 311. This blonde-haired
311
blonde tips, sunglasses that he put on in his probably cargo shorts.
I did not have
jean
blonde
shorts.
tips. Who are you describing?
You had fucking frosted tips,
no,
bro.
I didn't.
You 100% were Matchbox 20 with your earrings and your other bullshit.
I mean, I had gel in my hair, but I didn't have like frosted tips.
I remember frosted tips.
It's 2002.
That's what it was. It would have been 2010, 11 or so. So actually, we could look up Festival Pier 311 dates and know exactly what it was and go find the pictures from that day.
Well, that had to be, if I started full time with you, I think in 2012, and then I worked part time with you for a year before that. So 2011, it had to be like 2010.
You think it was 2010?
Around, or maybe 09. Cause was that the first time I met you or no?
I don't remember.
I remember commenting on your Japan shirt.
Yeah, because you had one.
I ended up buying one. I was like, that's a cool shirt.
Yeah. Okay. July 13th. What's today?
Wow.
July 10th. July 13th. It was 311, The Offspring, and Pepper at Festival Pier in Penn's Landing.
I don't remember shooting The Offspring that early.
Really? That's what I'm coming up with in 2010. Festival Pier 2012.
You know, what's funny is that you actually own the signage, the original signage from Festival Pier.
I do.
It's all full circle.
It is full circle. All right. Anyway, I'm going to skip looking this up because I can't seem to find it. But it was around that time. It had to be 2010.
It was around that time, yeah.
But proximity to success is extremely important, and doing the best job that you can when someone hands you a task is really important. You may think it's below you, but it also just is like, oh, hey, you know what? This lens just came in. Do you want to go take it out and shoot? Or, hey, you have a shoot coming up. Do you want to borrow this amazing thing? Do you want to take the R3 that I have 2 of that I don't use anymore because I have 2 R1s? Do you know what happens when you borrow a camera from me? You end up keeping the camera for quite a long time because I'm like, I don't need it. Go use it.
Actually, I got to borrow an R5 too from work. Is that okay?
We only have 1. We're supposed to get 6. We haven't asked them for all the ones to replace our R5s.
I actually meant to take inventory yesterday to see what we have, but I was too busy vacuuming, literally upstairs.
I haven't been up there since you said you cleaned, but anyway, moving on. Since I mentioned Aaron Heller, he had a bunch of questions for me. So I said, will you just send me audio, please? So we'll take it one question at a time. I believe there are 3 questions. Let's roll the first question.
Hey, Jared. I have a few quick questions before I go to the Savannah Bananas game on July 27th. The first question I have is, I've been seeing recently a lot of the Prism FX lenses being used for like sports photographers on Instagram and them showcasing what they can do. My first thing is, do you like those lenses? And if so, what Prism FX lens do you recommend me get if you do like them?
Do you know what my text was back to him, Steven?
Are you crazy? F no, or something like that.
Absolutely fucking no. No.
I was like,
you
Jared's
do not go and buy a
flip out.
Prism. You do not go and buy Prism FX because it's like what people are shooting sports with. Look, if you need like, I get tilt. I'm seeing so many tilt shift lenses now at baseball games because they're getting the manual Canon tilt shifts and they're using them. And I don't know if that's a reflection of what I did with my 4x5 last year and people starting to realize that, you know, you can do something different. I know I'm not the first ever to do that at a baseball game, but maybe it's something that put a trigger into people's brains to be like, how could I do this myself with a manual focus lens?
I do find it odd that people are shooting sports with the prisms. I know back in the day, and probably still today, it was a big thing with concert photography. People would bring the little crystals in and try and shoot through it. And what would happen, at least what I witnessed every single time, was them spending 2 minutes trying to get one single photograph and end up missing all these amazing shots, all these opportunities to get these awesome photos. They would try to sit there and take forever to get that one random picture with a crystal.
I'm about creativity. You know what you can do with those crystals? Shove them up your ass and see if you get a better picture. See what comes out.
I just think a concert experience or a sports event, anything that's happening and needs to be quickly captured in real time, you shouldn't be setting up shots like that and wasting time with crystals because you need to capture that moment. You need to be quick. And you might be spending too much time trying to get that crystal photo and missing the moment in the end. Now, if it's a setup shoot, take all the time in the world, get that cool crystal shot. I'm all about that. But not like event photography.
I just think it's trying very hard to add creativity to something that doesn't need it as much. Now, if there was a glass and there was windows and there was a prism effect happening and it's natural, I'm cool with it. But just holding up prisms in front of it's like soft focus filters. It's like when people would put Vaseline on the front of a filter and be like, isn't this cool? And I'm like, no. But hey, if you want to be creative and you want to mess around because you want to do something different, fine. But I don't believe you should be investing in these stupid crystals to take out to a ball game because it just looks cheesy in my opinion.
Well, and again, the crystals like could look cool. Maybe for like an engagement shoot, getting that one photo with the sun glistening and have some kind of crystal effect to it. I could see that. But again, you have time to set up that shot. When it's event photography and it comes to just simple coverage, I don't think that's when you should be experimenting with a crystal, personally.
No. Before we get to the next question, there are 8 spots now remaining for the Fronos Photo Bootcamp on August 16th, 2025, which is a Saturday. If you'd like to sign up and learn more, go to bit.ly/FroCamp816 to try and lock up the spots, and hopefully we end up selling out. This Sunday, I do have a boot camp here that's sold out, and I will have someone filming, and we will then share some of that B-roll or behind-the-scenes footage so you can see what happens at a boot camp. So if you'd like to do that and find out more information, go ahead and go to that site. All right, roll the next question, Steven.
The second question I have, obviously, the game is going to be played at Citizens Bank. So I was planning on bringing my 24-70 and my 400 for the game. This way I can get both the players playing and also the crowd shots. So my first question was where do you think I should go in the stadium? Obviously, you've been there many times. This is my first time taking pictures there, so I was just curious as to where you think I should roam. I was thinking about going up high for crowd shots, down low for game shots, but I didn't know if there was any other locations.
So does he have a pass, or is he shooting from the stands? I couldn't tell.
He actually got a press pass. He reached out to them, and he took initiative, and he has a media credential to photograph the Savannah Bananas, which I did the last time they came to town, or the first time they ever came to town here.
It's probably not too hard to get a media pass for that, right?
No.
Compared to obviously like a regular MLB game.
Much easier.
Yeah.
It's different. Like, there's so much more going on at a Savannah Bananas game. For anybody that doesn't know what Savannah Bananas are, just think of Harlem Globetrotters on a baseball field for the modern day. 2-hour experience there's a 2-hour limit on it, but it starts like 4 or 5 hours before the game. There's people hanging out outside. There's entertainment from the players. It's a whole thing. And
whole
the guy,
experience.
Jesse, has really built it, Banana Ball, up tremendously in the last 3 years. Last 5 years, but it's huge.
And I think it's entertaining for both the kids and the parents. I don't know if you just
It
saw the All-American Rejects performed at the last Savannah Bananas game.
Yeah.
Which I'd be like all about that if I was there.
Move along, if I thought I could, even when your hope is gone. I'll give you my dirty little secret.
I actually prefer the first album from All American Rejects before they were big.
I know what your dirty little secret's going to be, Steven.
Heyo.
You're going to have a Subaru soon.
Heyo.
Which is a 50-50. You think there's a 50-50 chance?
I think there's more than a 50-50 chance because, as I've said before, my brother-in-law works for Subaru.
That is going to be unbelievable. We're going to have to get you a bumper sticker if that happens. So the question here was, what do you think he should shoot with? He's got his 24-70. He said for wandering around, and then he talked about the 400 2.8 for on the field to do the game. And my answer was simple. I'm like, this event is not about taking pictures tight of baseball players. You don't need the 400 2.8. My inkling is you do not even take the 400 2.8. I don't think it serves a purpose because if you're on the field, you're going to get a picture of a baseball player, but it's about the antics. It's about what's going on at the game. It's about the 5 hours before the game where the fans are interacting with the ball players in the concourse areas and all of the stuff that's going on. So I don't think the 400 is necessary. I do think what he didn't mention is an 11-24 is highly necessary, which I did give him from Fun to Photographer. And that's necessary for getting the over-compassing shots from section 420 upstairs, which is behind the scene, which is right behind home plate, and then going into the outfield and getting the wide angles when they turn the lights on their cell phones. I would also recommend, Aaron, that you watch back the Savannah Bananas YouTube. Mm-hmm. They did a YouTube stream recently to see the run of the show.
Yep.
To see what happens and when it happens so that you know, okay, it's the 7th inning or whatever the hell they do, and that's when they do this. So go through. They're going to run the show basically the same. They're going to bring out a superstar. They're going to do something. Do that.
It's exactly what we would do, at least I would do, when I would shoot a concert. I would look at the set list and memorize those first 3 songs and try and look up YouTube videos or any type of playback that showcased where the band would be and how the lighting was. And then I would know what lenses to bring and where to be based on those video clips and that set list. Now, I do think he probably should bring at least a 70-200, something a little longer. 24-70 is pretty short, especially even if you have a press pass.
Yeah, so that was the next step, and I believe that 11-24, you can have a 24-70 for some interactions around, but I think the 11-24 is going to be good for that. I do think there should be a portrait thing, like get portraits of the kids hanging out or dressed up, wearing the clothing, so that you can. What I told him is this isn't about shooting baseball at all. it's not about what's happening on the field. It's about what's happening around it with the environment, the parents with the kids. And yeah, you want to get some baseball there, but don't shoot it at 400 millimeters. A tight picture is a tight picture is a tight picture. You need to showcase the environment and get the scene that is going on and document that.
Showcase the vibe of the Savannah Bananas experience.
I don't think he has a 50. I don't think I've given him a 50, and I don't think I've given him an 85-1.2 that we have downstairs. But I do think the 3 lenses should be an 11 to 24, 24 to 70, and 70 to 200, which rolls us in to the third question.
Do you think I should bring a strap to put my 2 camera bodies on instead of carrying them both around the stadium? Or do you think I should only just bring 1 lens and not even worry about the game action for the game, just the crowd shots and the people who make this event really what it is?
So he's asking, should he have a strap for 2 cameras? Personally, when I was his age and I was shooting, I only had 1 camera. He just so happens to be lucky to have a 1DX Mark II from Funda Photographer that I didn't take back when I gave him a 1DX Mark III, so he has multiple bodies, which is very important when you shoot sports. But I also feel that it becomes inhibiting when you're shooting, because now you start doing the decision making, like, do I want this lens? Do I want this lens? And you end up not just sticking it out with the one and focusing, and then when you need to switch, you grab the other lens. But to answer the question, I use a Black Rapid double strap. I am not sponsored by them anymore. They are much different than 15 years ago when they were new and upcoming, and I used that Black Rapid strap every single day. And then they made we have like 600 or almost 2,000 of the red straps that I sold. I sold 600 of those so fast when they made custom Black Rapid, I Shoot Raw red Black Rapid straps. But now the updated double harness, which I think is it like $169? Do you know?
$179. I'm on their website right now.
It's $179, but every time I shoot, even if it's with 1 camera, I put on the double harness. It is super comfortable. I really feel secure with my cameras on both hips if I do that. I mean, it's perfect for when I was doing the political stuff during the campaign. I could have my 400-2.8 on a monopod. I could have the 70-200 or an 85 or a 135 or a 28-70 and mix and match on the cameras and be ready to go with whatever I needed to do. And so, yeah, I think the Black Rapid double harness is a fantastic option. And again, I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just love that strap more so than I used to, because I used to be not as good, but it feels, I wear it every time I shoot now.
I still use the red I Shoot Raw Black Rapid strap from 10 plus years ago, and I love it. I really do.
Yeah, they really screwed the pooch on something when it came to the business.
I forgot they even existed, to be honest.
I think the downfall, I think a lot happened where they went away from working with the influencers they were working with, not me, but just continuing to expand and work with people to make the product available and showcase it. They really did a great job early with social and then gave up on it. And then I believe they tried to sue someone for a strap, and that cost way too much money instead of just winning with marketing.
And I think aesthetically, a lot of the leather straps, the fancier looking straps, the formal straps came into play and kind of took over that market, especially the wedding market, I feel like.
Well, Peak Design also made their Peak Design strap and clip, and I still don't like it, but that's just me.
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan, but I've also really never lived with it, so I can't say much about it.
So thank you, Aaron, for asking questions. And he's got a million more. He said he'll be assisting me on Sunday at the boot camp doing the stuff that we need to do, like rolling a cart of water down the street to the basketball court so that we all have water when we need water.
Vacuuming.
Yeah, we're not vacuuming. I'm not vacuuming. So that is that. So here's what we've got coming up for the rest of the show. We've got to talk about Canon releasing the 70-300 RF lens in the United States of America. Anne Leibovitz is getting some... she's getting some negative comments about a recent Vogue shoot she did with Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway?
It's Anne?
Anne Hathaway?
What? Sorry, my brain went to Mr. Skin. Do you remember Mr. Skin?
Are we talking about the website?
Yeah, so Howard Stern used to have Mr. Skin on, and then Mr. Skin was like this repository of knowledge of whenever someone was naked in any movie or any scene, he could pull it out of his head like an encyclopedia.
I think of Knocked Up when they're making the website, and at the end they're like, "Wait, like Mr. Skin?" He's like, "What?"
Yeah.
They spent all this time trying to get the scenes right, and then they're like, "It already exists."
Yeah, and that just reminded me that she shows her boobs in. If you want to watch this movie, go ahead. Brokeback Mountain. It's a good movie, by the way.
Why?
It's just a very good movie. Anne Hathaway shows her boobs. That's how you know you're not gay when watching that movie. If you enjoy, that brings up one of the greatest scenes ever. One of the greatest monologues that Jonah Hill gave.
Who the fuck does Ang Lee think he is, man? I mean, you make a supposedly, pro-gay movie, and you don't show one guy getting a Hummer the whole movie, man.
That is one of the funniest little bloopers there. But anyway, side note, still a great movie, Brokeback Mountain, but it just reminded me of Anne Hathaway. Anyway, Annie Leibovitz is getting some shit for her photos. We'll talk about that. Something very interesting is about to happen on YouTube with all of the AI-generated content. That's a big deal. And Oasis is back on tour, but there is some controversy over their photo release, and we'll get to that as well. So hit us with this Canon 70-300 RF news, Steven.
I just wanted to quickly bring it up that it's now available in the U.S. This was announced a few months ago, I think only in Europe and somewhere else overseas. But it's essentially a rehoused DSLR lens from 1999, their version 3, that one DSLR older one. It was initially thought to be around $400 after the UK pricing conversion, and that was kind of the controversy back then. It's going to be an expensive lens, and it's just a rehoused lens from 1999, blah, blah, blah. But it actually came in fairly cheap at $219, which is the same price the predecessor still sells for, which I'm actually surprised they still sell that lens, but they do. It is a full-frame lens, not an APS-C lens, by the way, but they're going to pair it with an R100 and the 18-45 as a kit. I find that a little odd. It'll be paired for $800, and it's a 35mm equivalent of $120 to $480 when you put it on an APS-C body.
That's cheap as hell.
It's super cheap, and a lens like this is needed, but I do think they should have updated some of the tech. I mean, if you break down the specs, it is the exact same lens, all the way down to the DC focusing motor.
So it's a piece of shit.
It's a POS for sure, yes.
But it's going to, yes, it's a piece
but
of
it's
shit.
people buying the R100, which is also a piece of shit, and putting a lens like this and just wanting the reach to take pictures of little Johnny running around kicking a
What's
soccer
that sound?
ball.
Steven, what's that sound?
What?
Oh, that's the money truck backing away,
Bye,
Steven.
Canon.
Bye, money truck.
Wait.
So, what? I thought
back.
you guys were on strike here in
Come
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting to get this lens so I can take it out to a ball game and I'll put it on an R100.
You're really going to review
shoot.
it?
I mean, why not?
I don't find many people searching for a lens like this, but who knows? I feel like this is the lens that people know absolutely nothing about photography and just know it's a mega zoom lens for an APS-C camera.
Yeah, well, you never know. It's a basic thing that people might end up finding. I don't know. You never know. Like the cheapest Canon lens, is it any good? Right? The cheapest Canon zoom lens, 75-300, is it worth it? The cheap lens for people who don't know how to take pictures and suck. Here's a lens that can suck for you.
Yeah.
And that's how titles are created.
Yeah. And then we'll go back and forth for like 2 hours and finally come back to the original title or something.
It's the worst.
It is the worst.
Do you want to introduce this Annie Leibovitz? How come we always called her Annie Leibovitz and not Leibovitz?
You've always said it. You've always said it's pronounced this way, I'm pretty sure. And then I just followed you. I'm like, okay, I guess he's right.
Oh. Anyway, Annie Leibovitz catches heat for her Anne Hathaway Vogue photo shoot, which the cover looks fine.
I do agree. I like the cover.
But
everything else is absolutely atrocious.
Let's go to some comments here. Let's go to some comments on Instagram about Annie Leibovitz's photos of Anne Hathaway.
Before you read those comments, if you guys do want to see these images, they're on Vogue Magazine's Instagram account.
Yes. We have, can someone please get Annie a new colorist? What the hell is going on with the edit on these images? She has this green / blue hue thing that she's been doing for years. It's like maybe she's putting a prism in front of her photos. I'm just kidding.
It just looks like extremely off white balance.
Look, this is her style of shooting at this point. And if that's her thing, that's her thing. Some of the photos are fine, but then you get to like the second photo on the one with her holding out her black pants, and you're like, there's no light on her. Where is the lighting? And then the comment underneath that other one was, these are breathtaking.
That one looks like it was a snapshot on a cell phone or something. I actually think Anne Leibovitz went into this art museum with just her camera and nothing else. No light, nothing. And just shot away. I mean, that's really what it seems like.
Yeah, except for when you get to the bottom and it's like photographed by Anne Leibovitz, writer by somebody, styled by, hair by, makeup by, manicure by, set design by. Are you fucking kidding me? This is shit that pisses me off.
I think Anne Hathaway was done up. She has her stylist, her hair and makeup done, all of that. Like, that's credited, but it's really the only photography credit is Anne Leibovitz. There's really nothing else when it comes to photography. It does say set design, which I find weird because there's no sets. It's literally in an art museum.
Yeah, but someone's got to get paid for that. I'll say the cover, totally cool with.
Agreed.
The other photos, you sent me the photo. It's the second
Oh my
photo
God.
it's the third photo is this in New York?
I think so. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, this looks like amateur hour at its finest.
Is she falling over? It's the one with the bridge in the background.
It's clearly a random photoshopped image of her somewhere else. And then they tried to put her, I guess, laying on a rock in front of a bridge, and the lighting and the cutout, everything is so bad.
Are you sure that's photoshopped and that's not how she did it?
It is clearly photoshopped. If it's not photoshopped, they manipulated it to the point where it looks so odd, it looks like it's photoshopped.
Yeah, the first picture here is like a green dress flowing in the colors are so off. Really. Yeah, someone's like, why the green screen though? Oh, maybe that's what they're talking about. That's in the comments. That someone goes, what in the AI is happening right here with this background? Then you still have a million comments like, she's amazing. These photos are amazing, because people don't care.
Yeah.
The general people don't care. Which photo are you talking about?
There is a behind the scenes photo in one of the other carousels that shows Anne Hathaway looking at one of the paintings, and you see other people looking at the painting as well. So I really think they went in like guerrilla style and just took some pictures and left. Like no lighting, nothing, just ambient light. And you know how art museums are. There's no lighting at all. And it's almost like she had her white balance set wrong and exposure. Everything was wrong. Composition, it's just like, oh my God.
If you look back at the last 10 years of Annie's shooting, it all has this. When she shot the Queen,
Sure.
they looked the same. We sat there and like, what is with this color?
These are worse than snapshots. And she probably got paid like $100,000.
But you remember when she walked by at that event we were
Yeah,
at, the
yeah.
Gordon Parks Foundation?
Yep.
I mean, she's up there. I would be very interested to watch her work on set. I do think that there's a lot of, she comes up with these concepts, hands it to her team. The team goes and puts the set together, puts the lighting together. And these are the choices that she makes. You don't have to like it and you don't have to agree with it. She's successful with it. And it's creating a stir, which is what the fashion industry always wants, is a stir. I'm not gonna rip on her. I don't agree with the color on some of them. I do think the cover was done perfectly fine, but some just weird choices in snapshots of a fashionista, and you're like, yeah, that makes no sense.
I'm really curious how Anne Hathaway feels about these images. If she's like blown away by them, or if she's realistic and like, wow, these look absolutely terrible.
She's an actor, so you'll never get a true answer.
Of course.
Oh my God, these are so fabulous. Yeah, it's so amazing. You're the best.
I really don't understand that one we were talking about in front of the bridge. It just looks like such a terrible... It looks like I prompt AI and said, make an image of Anne Hathaway sitting on a rock in front of a bridge. And that's what it spit out. Because it doesn't look real.
For me, at the end of the day, Annie is extremely successful. I might not agree with all of the choices that she makes, but I also look back that she's been shooting for 50 years. I would say, in the professional world and has had to adapt and evolve, and it probably gets pretty repetitive after a while. And this is just the style that she's living with right now. I think it's very similar to painters and how they go through, like Monet went through his different periods of blurriness and different periods of impressionism. So I would call it similar to that.
I'm actually surprised you're not as harsh as you usually are. I feel like I'm more harsh on this than you
know
are,
why?
which is rare.
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because she is so beyond successful through her career of what she's done. And I know what it's like when someone like tries to rip you apart and doesn't fully know what's going on. I can agree that some of those images are garbage and the coloring of those images are garbage. Like, I can fully agree, and I don't understand those choices.
My point is, when you're that high level of a photographer getting paid a boatload of money, you should be producing excellent work and not phoning it in like these images. And it's a shame somebody else didn't get the job, because Anne Hathaway looks absolutely stunning in terms of like her hair, makeup, look, everything. She looks amazing. But unfortunately, the images aren't very flattering because of the photographer's choice.
Just for fun, Steven, I put in Mr. Skin, Anne Hathaway, and
geez.
all I had to do was tell it I was 18 and there's some boobs. Now, what movie was this from? Anne Hathaway started her career as a Disney princess. We know that. Was this from Love and Other Drugs? Let's see. The list starts with Anne Hathaway showing up at a Jake Gyllenhaal's door. She walks in, opens her coat, and is fully nude in Love and Other Drugs. Shit, I thought it was Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad. I thought it was Brokeback Mountain. So I'm just sending you guys to watch Brokeback Mountain and never going to see her boobs. It was the wrong movie.
What movie?
It's Love and Other Drugs.
I've never even heard of that.
That's a great movie. Nope, I'm right. It says topless up-and-comer Anne Hathaway then displayed her naked peaks in Brokeback Mountain in 2005.
We have multiple movies.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss those Mr. Skin days where he just pulls
I know
this
what I'm
shit out.
watching tonight.
You're like, dear, would you like to watch Brokeback Mountain? I'm really curious.
By Curious.
Oh, geez, I did not know those were in there. Anyway, sorry if that. I'm not sorry if that offended anybody. That's just where my brain went, was Mr. Skin. Mr. Skin, that's his name. That name again is Mr. Skin. That was his jingle. Anyway, so moving on from Annie Leibovitz, YouTube, this is interesting. Someone sent me this last night and I'm like, I'm going to have to find out if this link is correct. And so I Googled it to find a real website, not just a meme that the guy sent me, that said YouTube is preparing to crack down on mass-produced and repetitive videos as concerns over AI slop grows. So we've all seen these videos that are just like a conglomerate of a mishmash of just still photos and then AI script that someone fed into it that is generating revenue, and it's just like history where they took Wikipedia and they fed it into the scene and then they had it spit out with just a couple of stock images, and then people watch this. Like my dad, I'm sure, would fall for stuff like this. If it is clearly created by AI, I am not watching it. I do not watch it. And there are so many AI videos cropping up in the last couple of months. There's all the Jesus stuff, all of the biblical stuff, all of the like gorillas interviewing people, all of the ones that I'm seeing on Instagram on Reels where they send it around and it's like a family going into McDonald's and it's a father, a daughter, a son, and a big wife, and he's like, I'd like to order 5 cheeseburgers, and he goes, and for everybody else, right? It's like they're just these jokes that are being made with AI, but people are getting millions upon millions of views on this stuff and making ad revenue. YouTube doesn't want that. And so YouTube is going to be changing their terms of service or amending or updating, because they did have something already in their terms of service that mentioned this. Let's see. It says that the change is just a minor update to YouTube's longstanding policies and is designed to better identify when content is mass-produced or repetitive. So this is exactly what they're going after, because the other day, I saw a YouTuber made a video off of a still photo. He said it was like Sora 3 or whatever Adobe's is called. He fed it in a photo of him on a set, on one of his sets, and then animated it into video and fed it a script, and it was just like it was him, because it was him on the set. Like, imagine I'm away and I want to do photo news fix, but I write photo news fix in Kenya, and I have a picture of me wearing a shirt doing my whole thing on the set, and I go animate this to this script and this audio.
Yeah.
That's me doing the audio. That's me writing the script, but it is possible that...
Would YouTube not allow that for monetization because of that?
That's going to be a good question, because that's my likeness. That's me doing it. I wrote the script.
Well,
it's all me.
I, for example, follow, I'm subscribed to a channel called AI Telly. Literally, AI is in the name. It sounds and looks like it's AI generated content, but at the end of every single video, they say this is all produced from scratch, all handwritten, everything, blah, blah, blah. But clearly, it's like an AI voiceover and AI animation. And a lot of the channel is showing like how the Air India plane crashed, how it's a lot of animated stuff like that, like how the big Buster bomb, whatever it's called, how that works, like that kind of stuff. I find it really interesting, and it gets millions of views, but like, will a channel like that get demonetized? Even though someone's behind writing the prompts, the script, everything.
Yeah, and it says the exact policy language itself has not yet been released, but a page on YouTube's help documentation explains that creators have always been required to upload original and authentic content. The update says that the new language will help creators to better understand what inauthentic content looks like today. Some YouTube creators were concerned that the update would limit their ability to monetize certain types of videos, like reaction videos or those featuring clips, but a post from the YouTube head of educational creator liaison, Renee Ritchie, says that is not the case. Now, that doesn't exactly answer what your question was, and how much AI can we use if it's original? Yeah. If we are writing the script and we're using our own likeness, but see, their thing is, if it's inauthentic, right? If it's not original, if it's just rehashing same old shit, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, what about that band on Spotify that is essentially AI generated? What if they started a YouTube channel and put out a bunch of music videos that got millions and millions of views? Will they get demonetized?
I don't know. I think some of that music's pretty good, Steven. Did you listen to some of that music?
Yeah. Pretty solid.
It's not bad. Now, that's because they fed it every single song in the history of songs that said create like acid rock, folky music from 1970 in the style of this, and it did.
What are they called? The Velvet Sundown?
Velvet, yeah, something like that. Yeah, there's not a lot of information about how this will fully work, but I think it's a good start to protecting content. And I know people are like, but you just used AI to create that poster. I was like, I did. Yeah. And it is scary. But the point is, it wouldn't be good if someone took my likeness and was repurposing for their own YouTube channel in the style of me. And people keep saying this stuff like, oh, well, someone's going to be able to recreate you. I'm like, well, they can create to a certain extent, but they can't replicate how I would do a review, or the images that I'm going to capture on the review and physically actually using it. You can do topical things like, I think that the screen sucks, based off of shit that I've said in the past, but we evolve and change over the 15 years of making these videos. So something I said 15 years ago might not hold true today, but the AI might go through and troll a video from 15 years ago that I did and not have the legitimate information that's more modern to today. It's a gray area, man.
I just think YouTube is trying to prevent it from becoming like a cesspool of AI content, where it's just
which is good,
complete filled with random computer generated BS.
Like when you listen to Gary Vee talk, he mentioned AI companies creating their own AI influencers, so basically they can influence buying decisions without actually paying other influencers, and they own the rights to that. But we'll see what happens. This is a good first step, in my opinion. It's not trying to say you can't use AI. It's just saying that you can't repurpose content and create shit, garbage, slop. And so I don't know how they're going to police it, but we will have to wait and see.
And that's what I'm curious about, is how will they police it? Because it's sometimes very hard to know what is AI generated and what's not. And will they confuse a lot of stuff that's not AI generated for AI generated content?
Yep. Last story we have here is Oasis Oasis is in the news because they are touring again. And let me read this article here from The Guardian to you real quick. Let's see. A row has broken out. I don't know why they use that term row. It must be some British thing. Broken out, and Stu Williams, our friend, will probably call me. He's like, how do you not know what a row is? Oh, Stu called me the other day and said, how did we get through an episode where I was talking about Big Bertha and the apertures of the shutter where I called them slits? How did we both go and say slit 800 times and not laugh? Because we're not childish, Stu. We're not childish like you. We can say the word slit.
We are adults.
And not automatically think of something else, Stu.
Yeah.
So keep your comments to yourself, and that's why, because we're professionals. Just like you're a professional bowler, Stu Williams, we're professionals at this. A row is broken out over restrictions imposed on how newspapers, magazines, TV broadcasts, and digital publishers can use pictures taken at the Oasis reunion gigs as the band prepares for their first night. Photo agencies and publishers have been told they can use shots of the first concert, which takes place in Cardiff on Friday, for 1 year, and then the rights revert back to the band and management. The industry norm is that such deals for independent photographers from agencies are struck in perpetuity, so publishers can continue to use shots for pieces such as band retrospectives, tributes, and illustrates future concerts.
Well, and initially it was said that they would only get 1 month after the concert to use the images, and then after negotiating, they expanded it to 1 year. Still not good, but
I don't know, man. You know my feelings on a lot of concert photography, and in the past when those rights grabs came up, it was more to protect from Joe Schmo down the street, coming to a show because they just want to come to a show and shoot it and then try to sell the images, as freelance, or try to repurpose them for something that they shouldn't, and
sell merchandise with the shirt with the image on it, whatever.
Yeah, I think they can strike whatever deal they want to strike, and you either like it or you don't. They don't need you. They don't need that. See, they keep talking about, well, this is great for bringing awareness and publicity, that the fact that Oasis is back, and they sold $1 billion worth of tickets. More than that. The tour has already pre-sold 1.3 billion pounds or something, or dollars in revenue. They don't need the publicity from your photos, and they are shoegazers. Shoegazers are people that stand on stage and don't move. Oasis brothers do not move. Yep. They stand there the whole show. So the photos that matter are the behind the scenes photos that whoever they hire as the band to come in and shoot the photos are the meaningful ones. Whether Danny Clinch comes in and does it, or they have their own people over there that come and do it. The live shots are going to be live shots from every venue that are going to look the same. And who fucking cares?
Yeah, I've definitely had similar language in photo releases back in the day. One that comes to mind is the Foo Fighters one. Actually, the same show you shot him backstage at, like Grohl and Shiflett and all the members of Foo Fighters. That specific tour, the one where he broke his leg and had the throne, the guitar throne, whatever it was, the Game of Thrones seat that he was in, we couldn't really use the photographs. I think they said we could use them one time, and then the band essentially owned all of the rights after.
Well, what they said is you could use the photo for the publication that you were there for. So you couldn't use it for your personal website as a portfolio piece.
It was more than that. And then the band basically owned everything after the fact.
I don't understand that.
I actually have the original photo release, and it says, I have the limited right and permission to use the photos of the Foo Fighters, subject to your approval of the photos solely in connection with one article about Foo Fighters contained in publication name. The photos may be used only in an article, publication, or other medium initially disseminated to the public within 1 year of the date of this agreement. I shall have no right to use or reuse the photos in whole or in part in any medium or for any purpose whatsoever, including without limitation, promotion, advertising, and trade without your written consent therefore. I hereby acknowledge that you, the Foo Fighters, shall own all rights in the photos, including the copyrights therein and thereto, and accordingly, I hereby grant, transfer, convey, and assign to you all right, title, and interest throughout the universe in perpetuity, including, without limitation, the copyright in and to the photos. And then it keeps going on and on, basically saying that you're transferring that copyright to the Foo Fighters after you use it one time in your article or publication.
But you're not even sending them the photos. So it's like
That's
they don't
what I
have
never
the photos.
understood. Yeah, it's like you're not...
And Steven, how many times did you hand, I forget her name. I forget what her name was. I forgot her name from Live Nation. Forget it.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
You hand her the paperwork, and then what do they do with it? They hand it to the tour manager, who, what does he do with it? Put it in an envelope, and then they send it somewhere. So they're doing like 50 shows. They're gonna be able to find all these pieces of paper.
I would always scribble my name in publication, so they usually couldn't even make it out anyway on purpose. I always question, like, what did they do with them? Where did they go? Did they actually file them away?
They never checked.
Never.
You would write Jim Marshall's name on it, right? I remember someone told me you just scribble, you put some shit on there. They don't check, and they give it to you before the show.
Unless you had to email it over or something like that. That was a different story. Sometimes you had to do that. But for the most part, we were signing them day of, like minutes before we go into the pit.
Yeah, I would just scribble and just not even put my information. Bad email address.
Yep.
Like, whatever. Hey, it's on you to check. It's on you to check.
100%.
So this is interesting because I don't understand the rights thing. I don't understand that you take these pictures and we own the rights. I don't agree with that. And they're not coming after you after a year of you anyway. Like, they're not policing this. They're not going to police this. But Oasis doesn't need your promotion. They don't need the promotion to sell the tour. The tour sold out instantly.
I'm surprised the tour is still going on. Did you see? There's like the current odds for the Oasis breaking up before the reunion show or whatever. This is right before they actually started the first show. Breaking up before the first day of the reunion was 7-1. Breaking up at any point during the reunion is 20-1. Breaking up 6 months after the reunion, 2-5, and then Liam and Noel to have a physical altercation on stage during the reunion was a 12-1 odd.
Look, when there's that much money being thrown around, this is insane for you guys to get up on stage and fucking sing and play your guitars and go from city to city. I think you two can get over it and handle singing some of the greatest music of the 90s for the world to enjoy.
We actually interviewed Noel Gallagher backstage.
High Flying Birds?
No, this is 2008 when Oasis was still around. It was their last final U.S. Final tour. We had a whole interview with him, video interview backstage. I have no idea whatever happened to that footage, but I remember us trying to get both of the brothers, and they're like, no, they're not doing it tonight. They're not even like talking right now.
But the one of the tours I would have liked to have seen, Oasis with Jet and Kasabian in 2005, 2006. That was a tour. Because I was around Jet that time, but that was right at the time they have already blown up and they were becoming super duper huge and they were really heavy into the drug world. But I remember hanging out with Kasabian back when they played the TLA and da-na-na-na-na-na. Na, 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 na. I loved Kasabian, and then there was a band called The Music. I heard this band called The Music.
Real original.
They opened up for Coldplay, and holy shit, was that stuff good. So if you look up Kasabian and listen to Kasabian's first album, and you look up The Music, that stuff, there were some hits, man. That stuff was good. Anyway, I get I just never understood the rights grab thing, and I don't know even how that works. If you never send someone your work, this is just shit. Just go shoot. They're not going to come after the agencies in a year or two, and it doesn't really matter. The photos aren't going to be anything special that are coming out from these agencies because they're probably shooting from the soundboard. They're just going to be pictures.
And I've never had to have my photos confirmed or reviewed.
Yes, you
for
did.
Publication, except once. I was going to bring it up.
Yes, you did.
Except once.
Tell the story.
I've told it before, but
I want to hear it again quickly.
We had the Killers play one of our big birthday shows for the radio station. They were headlining. They were the big band for the night. And they've always had their own photographer that would take pictures for them in the pit, and they would never allow for press or anyone else. And they made a special exception for me that night because I guess I was the house photographer, the radio station photographer, and they were performing for us. And they allowed me to shoot for the first 2 songs, I think. I know it was definitely the first few because that's when Brandon looked the best, the front man, Brandon Flowers. So anyway, the only stipulation was that they had to review the photos after. The manager had to. So I take the photos, I run backstage, I tried to instantly edit them as fast as I could. I think I was maybe 20 minutes in and the manager's like texting the PD of the radio station, like, are you guys done yet? I need to review these images. The band's got to go. I'm like, I still need some time. And then a few minutes later, all of a sudden, Brandon Flowers comes out of nowhere and taps me on the shoulder and is like, hey, man, I'm Brandon. Nice to meet you. Let's check out the pictures together. And I'm like, what? You're the singer from The Killers? Like, just checking out my pictures of you? And he decided to review them himself and handpick out the photos that he liked the best. And I noticed after going through the photos with him that he was picking out basically the pictures that he looked the least sweatiest, which unfortunately were the best photos because I think he looked like a total rock star with sweat dripping down his face and everything. But he probably picked, in my opinion, as a photographer, the worst images, but it is what it is. And he was so nice about it. He was so down to earth, like, hey, man, it's not you, it's me. I just have a specific way I want to look. And, great images, great photographs. You're a really good photographer, blah, blah, blah. I really like that one, but unfortunately, I can't let that one slide. And I could tell that it was because of the sweat. But I'll never forget that moment.
I dealt with that with Perry, where he just wanted to do some Photoshop, and I'm just like, I don't do that. I don't Photoshop these images. I'm like, Perry, you look great. I think you look fantastic. And I remember the last time was when I did the shoot in like 2019. They called me. I got on the call with his management, got on a call with Perry, got a call with Etty, and they were asking, they wanted my permission to do something, which is great that they called. And I just said it right off I'm like, Perry, I think you look fantastic.
Yeah. You look like a rock star.
I'm like, I think you look great in these images, but look, here's what, and the manager was like, I agree. And then I was like, you know what? I'll make this easy for you. I don't do Photoshop, but if you'd like to touch them up, by all means, do whatever you would like to the images. And that ends the call. And they were like, okay. I was like, perfect. You get what you want. Go for it. Like, I don't care. And it's just there's hills to die on and there's hills not to die on. And this is coming with age. Like, this is shit that you learn over time and experience. There's certain things that you give into and there's certain things that you don't. And it's not just the photography world, it's life. Like, what do we want to argue about? Is it worth arguing, or is it like, whatever, it's not a big deal, move on?
Agreed.
So that's what we got this week, Steven.
That's it.
I like taking audio questions when they come in.
Yeah. Depends what they are, but
we were not going to pick shitty audio questions.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that. We haven't done a show like that in a while where we had people record their questions and send them in. Everybody can send voice memos these days, right? They can record right on their phone and send a memo. I could probably offer that through Dropbox at some point if we ever want to do that again. You get 1 minute to ask a question.
What about the text line? Can you actually leave a voicemail if you call that number?
I don't think you can leave a voice. No, I don't think you can leave a voicemail.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never called it. I mean, I don't know, Steven. It's a good question. We can figure it out. But I like doing those shows where you guys ask questions like audibly, and we can play the question and then answer them. We might have to do that. Put that one in the can just in case there's ever a week. You know what I mean? Like, in case there's ever a week where, like, you know what? We're super busy. Let's get this in the can. So keep an eye out for that through our text line, 313-710-9729. Instagram, I'd probably do it. And through the email list, I might request people send in that stuff. But we'll think about that into the future. Anything else you want to add before we get done with RAWtalk 159?
The only thing I want to add is that we'll be putting out a video of your build speech this weekend, and it's a little different. We did kind of a unique intro, kind of humanizes you, which I really like. You did a voiceover for it, talking about having imposter syndrome and, am I good enough to do a speech at the Build It Expo kind of thing. And I think it's a pretty solid piece of content. It's long, but it's definitely a good watch.
All right. That's where we're going to leave it, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Jared Polin, FurnosPhoto.com. See ya.
Bye.